Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Oshawott Draft League. This is your commissioner speaking, and we're diving right into this week, which was full of unexpected outcomes and thrilling battles. Let's break down the highlights. In our first battle of the week, the Scale Chop Samurai clashed with the Striking Talons, and the outcome was a shocker. Against all odds, the Samurai emerged victorious. Early on, Lucario got burned but managed to set up a swords dance, taking down Rotom Heat. Then Iron Boulder switched in and knocked out Lucario. After a few strategic switches, Iron Boulder also took out Alolan Ninetales. At this point, Superior switched in and stole the show. It hit 5 consecutive Leaf Storms, knocking out every remaining Pokemon on the Striking Talons. This isn't absolutely crazy, but Leaf Storm has 90% accuracy, and it did not miss a single time during this battle. Also, Glaceon should have outsped Superior, but after the match, the Striking Talons coach Razor admitted to misreading Superior's speed stat, thinking Glaceon would outspeed and change the battle's outcome. Instead, the Scale Chop Samurai triumphed over the Striking Talons in an incredible upset. Now for Battle 2. The second battle was arguably the most surprising of the week. The Wixom Wakes started out strong with a Shell Smash Blastoise, which dominated early on by knocking out Dragonite, Sinistra, Mimikyu, and eventually Cresselia. However, the tide turned when the Eevee Elite's Manaphy, which had screens, managed to withstand Blastoise's attack, and then set up Light Screen, then Reflect, and knocked out Blastoise. Before this, Coach Izzy of the Eevee Elite said multiple times in her recording that she thought the game was over and that there was no way she would possibly come back. After all that, Servine switched in and KO'd Manaphy. This opened the door for Minior to come in. Minior then set up with Shell Smash and began its sweep. Grimmsnarl attempted to paralyze Minior, but it was thwarted by Minior's ability Shields Down. Shields Down prevents status effects while the shields are still up. This allowed Minior to set up another Shell Smash and sweep the remaining members of the Wixom Wakes, KOing Servine, Grimmsnarl, Incineroar, Ogerpon Wellspring, and Staraptor, even though for some reason she clicked Stone Edge on Staraptor when it could have missed, and she would have knocked out with Acrobatics. At the end, the match went to the Eevee Elite, and Coach Datum of the Wixom Wakes admitted that he did not know that Shields Down prevented status conditions on Minior. Before this, the Wixom Wakes were undefeated, and the Eevee Elite managed to defeat them, meaning that no team in this league will end the league with only wins and no losses. You can see the rest of the battle go on here, with Minior setting up a second Shell Smash right now, then sweeping the rest of the team. And now off to the third battle. The third battle of the week was the Goonin Gamblers facing off against the Fregigigas. At the beginning of the battle, it seemed to be very back and forth, and it looked like there was going to be a very long battle ahead. There was numerous switches, and it all ended dramatically, with Sarina nearly succumbing to poison, and then using Rapid Spin to clear all the hazards. This paved the way for Iron Bundle to sweep the entire team, achieving 6 KOs and ensuring that none of the Goonin Gamblers' Pokemon got knocked out. In the end, the Goonin Gamblers won the game. This serves as a reminder to know your speed tiers and never underestimate a fast but frail Pokemon. It is now time for the final battle. The final battle of the week was a close one and an intense showdown between the Shellshocks and the Medali Mouseholds. Both teams fought fiercely, with most Pokemon securing at least 1 KO each. The battle started with the Medali Mouseholds using Terra Normal on their Mousehold, who KO'd Tinkaton with a Population Bomb. Conkeldurr was then switched in, and after a protect to activate his ability Guts, he KO'd Mousehold with a Mach Punch. Landorus Therian then switched in and eventually knocked out Conkeldurr. After a strategic series of switches, Skeledirge managed to knock out Galarian Weezing. Then Clodsire was switched in, which was a perfect counter to Skeledirge, and after a few turns in a battle between the two, Skeledirge succumbed to poison damage from the poison used by Clodsire. Following more intense switching, Samurott KO'd Hatterene, and then Iron Valiant switched in and finished off Samurott with a Shadow Sneak. A slugfest ensued between Malamar and Iron Valiant, ending with Malamar living on 8 HP and taking out Iron Valiant. Meowscarada was then switched in for the Mouseholds and finished the game by KOing both Malamar and Clodsire. After this intense and close battle, the Medalli Mouseholds emerged victorious with one Pokemon remaining. They are now in second place because of this battle, and if they can win next week, they will be fighting for first place in Week 7 against the Wixom Wakes. Now it is time for us to go to free agency updates. This was the final week for free agency changes, marking the end of roster adjustments for the season. First up, the Eevee Elite dropped Alolan Raichu and picked up Alolan Sandslash. They also changed their Terra Captain from Umbreon to Alolan Sandslash, allowing the new captain to avoid its 2 4x weaknesses when terastallizing. Next, the Goonin Gambler changed their Terra Captain from Hisuian Quillfish to Carbink to strengthen their defensive core, as Carbink is a very defensive Pokemon and having Terra types to fight its weaknesses will be very helpful. They also swapped Zoroark and Haxorus for Great Tusk and Uxie, aiming for better team balance and versatility. Next, the Wixom Wakes dropped Dragonair. This was simply because there is a league rule where each Pokemon on your team has to participate at least once during the main season, and they did not plan to use Dragonair. And then the final changes in this season, the Medalli Mouseholds dropped Calyrex and picked up Hisuian Sliggoo, and also made it a Terra Captain. With Eviolite, Hisuian Sliggoo is expected to be a defensive powerhouse in upcoming battles. Next, we'll go to the rankings. This week's battles caused significant shifts in the rankings. The Striking Talons dropped from 2nd to 4th place, with the Medalli Mouseholds now in 2nd and the Eevee Elite moving up to 3rd. Despite their loss, the Wixom Wakes maintain a solid lead in 1st. If both the Wakes and the Mouseholds win in Week 6, their Week 7 face-off will determine the top seed heading into playoffs. In the MVP race, the 2 top slots remain unchanged, but Iron Bundle surged to 3rd place with 6 KOs this week, and Minior and Blastoise also climbed the rankings thanks to their impressive performances in the same battle. Final comments. A quick reminder that top seeds get their choice for the first round in playoffs. So, first place will get to choose any team they want to face off in the first round of playoffs. If the Eevee Elite can maintain their momentum, they could secure 2nd place or at least hold on to 3rd, giving them a strategic advantage. I'd like to also congratulate the Goonin Gamblers on their first win of the season. Their team has shown significant improvement and might overtake the Shellshocks for 7th place, depending on how the remaining weeks unfold. On top of this, they made a few changes to their team and it is looking a lot scarier for the end of the league and playoffs. Looking ahead to Week 6, we have some exciting matchups. First up, we have the Eevee Elite versus the Fregigigas. They are close friends that are coaching both the teams, and I predict a high-intensity slugfest with powerful sweepers on both sides. Another battle to look forward to is the Shellshocks against the Scalechop Samurai. The coaches of these two teams are real-life best friends and have been for a long time, so I expect a very intense battle between the two. These battles are shaping up to be very thrilling, and I'm particularly excited to see if the Medalli Mouseholds and the Wixom Wakes can both win, setting up a potential clash for first place in Week 7. Thank you for tuning into this week's recap, and I look forward to having another amazing week of battles and hope to see you all next time.